Hey, hi again. We're going to go ahead and talk about some root vegetables today. We're going to be specifically talking about potatoes and sweet potatoes today. So our goal will not be so much spending time talking about the vegetables themselves, but on some knife techniques. So let me show you a couple of those. The first thing I did was I wanted to point out that I went ahead and I have one of the sweet potatoes. I had two, and I want to show you that this is peeled, this one is not peeled. You can do whichever one you like. Some people like the extra fiber and the vitamins because there's actually a lot in the outside skin. Some people don't. So I'm going to use the one that's not cut today just so you can see the difference or just see what that looks like. But I am going to leave the skin on my potato. Because these grow under the ground, it's very important that you scrub them very well. I know that when we were in the vegetable unit as intro to culinary and food nutrition, we talked about the fact that sweet potatoes and yams are actually in the same family. The yams that are part of the orchid family grow in Africa. We don't have any of those in the United States unless they're imported. So what we have is basically different types of potatoes, and some are softer and some are harder than others. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. We're going to talk about this very quickly. So whenever you're cutting with a knife, with a potato or those kinds of things, as you know, hold the knife, hold well, so you have a nice grip. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay it on its side, and I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge right there so that way it is now squared up and it's not going to roll on me. And then what I can do is I'm now going to cut nice even slices that are the same slice all the way along. And this is the type of slice like if I was going to make like potato chips, not potato chips, excuse me, French fries or those type of things. And then when I get close to the end and it's starting to get rolly, then I can actually put it together. But this guy's going to be okay without having to do that. I'm going to lay them on top of each other. So I have a stack now, stack of potatoes. And once I have them stacked up, you sort of put your potato back together. Then what I can do is I'm going to just cut them lengthwise so that now I have these long French fry shaped pieces. And you can make them as whatever size around that you want. And this is a really good practice to get down, because I'm going to show you in just a minute with the sweet potato. Once you've learned this technique of how to make these nice long cuts, bayonets, which is sort of these long, so I have my French fry cuts, then I can do the same thing the opposite direction, and that will give me my my dice, and I can do whatever size I want again. So again, I take off one side, so I've squared it up. Once I have that side, trim off the ends if you need to, which that guy needed to. Again, I'm going to cut into the size that I want. Keep in mind that these guys can be a little bit tough sometimes, so be very careful when you're cutting through your sweet potato especially. And then if you need to stabilize, you can actually put your fingers on either side, as long as you're very careful to come down on either. And as soon as it establishes in the knife, remove your hand away from the knife. Once I've done that, then I'm going to do the same thing again that I do with my potato, making the long skinny cuts. And like this. And then when I want to make my dice, I just go the opposite direction so that I can make the same size, and I have my nice little even sized cubes that I can cut. I can use these in soups, I can use these to saute in vegetables or whatever. Now the cool thing about these particular root vegetables is they have lots and lots of uses. So one of the things I'm going to ask that you do is not only practice this technique, but then I'm going to ask that you find a recipe that you want to use that uses these. So, one that uses a dice, one that uses the bayonet or batonet, depends on, I've heard it pronounced both ways. And we're going to cut these up. And my suggestion, what I'm going to do, I'll let you know, is I'm just going to take my potatoes, I'm gonna stick them in a bowl. I'm gonna put them with some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and then put them on a baking sheet and roast them. And then you can also do the same thing with your vegetables, and or saute them as you've done your carrots, or you can even cook them a little bit longer with the caramelization process that you did with the onions. So I'm gonna let you have fun with that. Let me see your cuts. Let me see your finished product, and we're good.